welcome back to my channel. Today you can ask me questions, okay? So every Thursday I'm going to go through the questions that I've been asked by students and YouTube watchers. So feel free to ask away or even share your answers to the questions that I've been asked. So today we're going to answer one question that I have actually been asked by a few students, and that is all about choreography. How do I choreograph a piece? Some students, they really seem to struggle getting a piece together to their favorite music. They are okay when the teacher gets something together and they follow and they learn the steps, and then obviously they can perform. But when it comes for them to create their own choreography, then they don't know where to start, how to go about it, and what to think about. And so I'm going to share my 5 top tips. Also, please note that these are things that work for me. Everyone works slightly differently and everyone is an individual and work in their own way, but these are things that I definitely take into consideration when I do my choreographies. Okay, so number 1, you need to find a song that you love. You really need to be passionate about the song. You need to connect with the song because you're gonna listen to it over and over and over again, and you will be practicing along to it a lot. Okay, so choose a song that you know you won't get tired of. Choose a song that you really feel that you love. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2. This is probably not as important to you if you are quite new to the choreographing and if you're just really trying to get the hang of it. But if you are already performing and you have tried a few choreographies yourself already, or you have done a few already but you just want to improve, the next thing that I usually think about, and sometimes even before I choose the song, is where am I going to perform? What is it for? Is it themed? Is it going to be an outdoor event? Is it going to be an indoor event? Who is watching? Who is going to be the audience? Okay, this is very important for several aspects, because when you're performing, you want to make sure that you are delivering to the audience what they would like to see. And what they're expecting as well, or maybe sometimes what they're not expecting, but in general, obviously, if you're being booked for a performance or if it's a certain event, then you want to kind of cater to that as well. So the reasoning behind that is you want to have an idea. Is there going to be a stage? Is it going to be an environment where people are sitting around you? So you're not just choreographing to one front where everyone is lined up in one section, but it may be that you have to play around the room to cater to everyone who's watching you. It may also be that it is a small venue with a low ceiling, or you won't really have a lot of space to express yourself, to really fill the room, in which case I would say leave any props out. So I would really stay away from stick and sword and anything that could hurt anyone, but then at the same time veil as well, because it may just get tangled up and you won't be able to really play with it the way that you intended to. The other thing is, if it's outdoors, you may want to stay away from a veil. Even if you're a professional and you know how to handle a veil well, the wind just is unpredictable. So you just don't know when it's going to hit it, and the wind can play better with a veil than you will. So definitely keep that in mind too. Number 3, have an idea in mind. What is it that your character in that piece wants to convey? Is it going to be sensual? Is it going to be playful? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cool? Is it going to tell a story? Is it all of it? That's fine too. It's your piece and you're expressing it. You can have one song, 5 different dancers, and they will all interpret it in their own way. So it's a little bit like photography. You can have 5 photographers in the same room. Chances are that the pictures that they take, even if it's the same object or subject, it's going to be different. Okay, so You have to feel it. You are the creator of the story. Yeah. And with that goes costume choice as well. What colors? Is it going to be a skirt? Is it going to be harem pants? Are you going to wear any jewelry? Are you going to have your hair up? Are you going to have your hair down? All these things do matter when you are thinking about the choreography and the moves that you're going to implement. For me personally, if I have a lot of turns in my choreography, I prefer to have a skirt, or at least harem pants that kind of flare out when you turn so that you get the most out of it. Otherwise it just really loses a little bit of the effect. Another thing is, if you wanted to incorporate floor work, then you really need to see what you're going to wear as well, because you need to be able to get into the different positions and get yourself back out again without looking indecent, if you see what I mean. Number 4, stick to what you know. Use the moves that you are most comfortable with and that suit your body shape as well, because if you've been dancing for a while, you will notice that belly dance is for all shapes and sizes, but the moves look different on different people. Even though it's the same move, but it just translates differently. So find your favorite moves, the ones that you don't have to think about too much, the ones that you can transition into nice and easily. And if there's something that you really want to bring into the choreography, then I would strongly suggest drill the move over and over before you put it into the choreography. Just make sure you're very familiar with the move that you want to bring in there. Now, the last nugget number 5, be yourself. Don't try to copy anyone. It is, of course, at the beginning, when you start choreographing, you watch other dancers, and there will always be some elements that you bring in, because obviously it is an art form. You have certain set moves and you bring them in together in different combinations and to different music. But think about your own personality, think about the character that you are trying to convey, but don't try to copy another belly dancer. And here's just a little side note which is really dear to my heart, and that is, if you are being inspired, and there's nothing wrong with being inspired by other dancers, not at all, but if you are using their material, their choreographies, or even just parts of it that you're aware of, where you go like, I really want to put this piece in there, do give them credit. I think that's very important, and I think it's also important for your credibility. If you are a dancer starting out and you've been inspired by another dancer, or you're even copying a whole choreography, which is also fine, but credit the dancer that you got it from. You can still add your own flair to it, which is great, but if it's someone else's choreography, do give them credit. The internet is open to everyone, and sooner or later somebody will come across another choreography where they go like, that is very similar to what somebody else did. So me personally, I think it's very important to give them credit if you achieved performing and like delivering a nice dance because of their choreography. I'm sure that you would want the same if you did your own thing as well. And the other thing is, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was very disappointed once when I learned a choreography and I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and it was never mentioned that a lot of it was inspired by another dancer. And then a friend of mine said, "Oh, did you learn that choreography from that particular dancer?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And she says, because I did a workshop with that dancer, and it was very similar. So I looked it up, and it was very similar. And the the other dancer, who is probably the original creator of that piece, is very famous, very big, international, and it was released a few years prior to when we learned it. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just feel that it is really important to give other creators credit for, even if it's just inspiration, you know, if it's the same song and certain moves go in there and it's very obvious that there's a correlation there, then I think it's very important to highlight that. Okay, so yes, but other than that, go ahead, pick a song, pick your favorite moves and put them together. Think about what you're going to create, and be yourself. Have fun with it. And if you would like to share what you've created, please leave a comment underneath this video and share a link to your creation, and it would be lovely to see what you come up with or what you have come up with in the past. One additional nugget. A student asked me once if there's right and wrong. There isn't really. There are certain basics that will help you to put a piece together, but there are different aspects. Anything that you hear, anything that speaks to you from what comes out of the music, that's what you can interpret. Be it the beat, be it the melody, be it the singing, be it a pause. You can even add your own little pause into it that is actually not in the song if you feel that it deserves a pause without doing anything, because just a pause in the dance can mean as much as a powerful move. Okay, so that's it from me for now, and do go ahead, ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. I do reserve the right not to answer any too personal questions, however, if that's alright with you. Okay, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.